So we have it for all those who are not here. Okay. Okay, so tell me when you can see my screen. Yeah. Screen?
Yes, I can see.
Okay,
Yes.
great.
About the rest.
Yeah, I can see your screen, Maria.
Great. Okay, so I'm going to keep pausing it so you can read.
Is it possible to make it a little bit bigger or no?
Yep, if you could please make it a little bigger.
Maria,
Yeah,
I
because
can
it's
share
very
it on
tiny.
PDF.
Okay, is it hard to see? Just give me one
Erin,
minute then. I think you'll have to make it bigger on your end. Maybe, do you know how to move your phone into landscape mode?
Hello, Maria, I can share it.
Okay, great. Daria is here. She's in the house. So
Yes.
that's
Hi, I'm
fantastic. She will
sorry.
share the
I'm
PPT.
sorry. My Zoom was naughty. Didn't allow
Oh,
me
no
to
problem.
log in for some reason. So apologies and hello everyone in a new year. I don't think we've seen so far. How is everyone doing?
Fine. How about you?
Fine, fine.
We are all right. Fine, good. We are all right. I'm in Poland visiting my family for the last 3 months. That's
Oh,
what is
nice.
good with. Yes, that's what is good with online work. I take my laptop and I change place of my living. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
Really
good.
early, in
It's
fact,
good.
in the morning for Daria. It's really early,
It's
Daria.
already 8 o'clock, Maria, so
Oh,
that's
it's
fine.
8. I thought it was 7. Okay, UK
7
time
in
7.
UK. I keep UK
Okay.
because then, for example, 10th of June, I'm traveling to London. And, you know, if I start to telling people where I am, then
It's
they're getting
confusing, of
confused.
course.
So I rather keep always London, so it's much easier for accommodating anything. Yes,
That
because
makes
the
sense.
time zones changing. There is coming summer life, summertime, and it's like a little bit confusing. But anyway, I hope everyone is doing well and is exciting for today, for today's session. And I think, do I start or we have something
Yes,
more,
I think
Maria?
we can get started. We can get started. Yeah, we're
Yes,
all quite
and
excited.
of course, yes, and of course, as before every session, I want that deeply everyone has some intention for today's session, maybe related to the gut or intuition, which is locked also in our gut little bit. Now we are saying the gut feeling. I share quickly my my intention, so you've got time also to think about yours, and if you will want, you can share it yours. So my intention is
Sorry, if I can just interrupt for one moment before you do that. I just wanted to
yes.
make mention that today we have a lot of new amigos who have joined us, who have not been here previously as well, just for you to know. So we have some who have attended your previous sessions and some who are attending for the first time. So just wanted to clarify that. Go ahead.
Hello, Sam, who attended, and hello, Sam, who is first time. There is always, like in life, no, someone coming, someone going, someone staying. So my intention for today is to say thank you so much for all of you who are joining and who is coming, and I'm very appreciated of you, and it's like a additional motivation for me to wake up every morning and go and share what I know. And I also would like, so that is one, and the second one says I'm appreciated for you, and another one is special for Maria today and her recovery from her surgery. And Maria, I hope this gut work also helps you, because it's very important part that support females' hormones, because we know that female hormones are detoxifying through the gut, partially, obviously through the skin and through the kidneys in a different forms, but gut is very important. So my intention is for your healing and recovery as well, Maria. Okay, anyone has their own intention and would like to share it? Otherwise, please keep it in your heart. So you can unmute yourself, share it. I just give you another few moments. Otherwise, I start.
Okay, I'll say that intention is to thank you, Daria, for doing this volunteer, taking this, and so that's my first to thank you very much.
Thank you.
Out of a busy schedule, I'm sure you had, and the time difference, you had to put it aside. So I want to thank you. I also want to thank Maria for to prepare this. It's a lot of work, so I want to thank Maria too. And my third intention is that all of us would, sometimes what happens with these workshops or seminars, we see a lot, but we don't put it into practice. My third intention is for all of us to be able to put you put into practice what you have taught us. That's it. Thank you.
Beautiful. Yes, yes, yes.
Very well said. Yeah.
Yes,
Beautiful.
yes. Thank you so much. Jen, you unrock your Jen Rock.
Yeah.
So anyone unmute themselves?
Yeah, Jennifer. Yes, I had her.
Hi,
Go ahead.
good morning. For me, it's the first time because I've had a very busy past 2 months. But we read and we hear so much about your body and food habits and all of those. So my intention today is, while we try to live a healthy lifestyle, to just see whether we're on track, what we should really concentrate on, and what we shouldn't make a fuss about. Because we try to have a balanced diet, and so, and of course, listen to you and share the experiences of others and probably learn something new, meaningful. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Anyone else would like to speak?
If you could just raise your hand so I can spotlight you.
Can I say something?
Yes,
Okay.
Veronica, right? See, I recognize your voices now.
Right. Okay.
Go ahead,
Thank you very
Veronica.
much. Yeah. Thank you very much for all that you do. And yeah, I do listen to most of what you say, and I do put it in practice. I'm suffering from RA, and that's been difficult. So yeah, I do follow it all. Thank you very much. God bless.
Thank you
That's
so much.
wonderful. That's so
That's
great
fantastic.
to hear. Yeah, fantastic.
Yes, beautiful. Maria, trust me, I give you time to speak for sure, but I would like to kind of start now. Maria, I need your permission to share my PDF.
Yes, I've just done that. I've just done
Okay,
that. You can go ahead. Okay.
Perfect.
So if I can ask everyone to mute at this moment, but please do take down notes or any questions that you have, because Daria is going to be doing a special Q&A at the end. Yeah, we can take it from there. So over to you, Daria.
Thank you so much. And if you cannot read everything, please don't worry. It's about the essence, and I think you have the link to PDF. And I always suggest to print everything that you're receiving from me. So it's becoming like your little guide and little book in the evening that you can read in the morning instead of looking at the screen. You have lots of screen time, so let's kind of create the space without a screen time. And I don't remember the last person who was speaking the name, apologies, but arthritis, you mean? It was that? What the condition did you have?
Yes, rheumatoid arthritis.
Yes, exactly, rheumatoid arthritis, yes. And that is autoimmune condition. And it doesn't matter what condition we've got. Trust me, there is so much link between our gut and anything that's disease manifest for us. And this is not like a newest science. This is old, well-known from time probably of Hippocrates, and traditional Chinese medicine talks about this. Now they have just little bit different understanding of organs but they're talking about the deficiencies of blood, deficiencies of the kidneys, but anything that starts from the digestion, and then this breaks down different micronutrients which goes into the bloodstream, then this drives further the messages. So as I was cycling to see you here, because I'm living in different apartment and I'm doing my work from my parents' house, I was thinking, what is the one thing that you really can take from all those lessons we've done? I think it's actually that lesson. So maybe it's meant to be that it's at the end, because it's going to be the newest. You've got a beautiful ebook to support this, and you miss anything, really you can follow this guidance. And there is one more practical idea for you, that I really suggest to do it 10 or 14 days in of this program, or 28 days. Break it down the way you want. No, create any way a practical plan for you. But once you do this, you can repeat every 6 months, every 8 months, because it's always good to give a little bit break for your digestive system. So does not need to be heavy loaded with everything that we are surrounded with, as well as with food. So I think this is like little bit your way to go when you want to reset yourself. Program. So we have in 5 steps of the gut optimization or gut health. I skip all of this, but as I said, this reset plan can help you reset female hormones, bring you more energy, boost your metabolism. No, obviously, if we have happier hormones, then we are happier overall as women. But also there is a big link between gut and brain. So any conditions related to anxieties, depression, Parkinson, Alzheimer, anything related to the brain, dementia, no, longevity of that, no, muscles are important, but gut is also very important. Any conditions related to immunity or autoimmunity, think of that. Anything related to cold, flus, viruses, our gut is so robust, and anything that goes inside us now with food or we breathing in should be our breath out through the lungs. So let's think about different organs of detoxification. Is not just the gut. We have skin, we have lungs, we have obviously the intestine, we have the kidneys. Now we have to think about all of this, but gut again is linked here to immunity or colds and flus. So if you say, oh, I'm worried, and we had this pandemic coming, and I know that this was dramatic for many people, but trust me, if I clinically scan people, as I see in my clinic, most of people has, or women, I will talk about women as well, because I'm working with them a lot, they are having issues with the gut, no? So they're, and at a certain age, again, we're losing capability to break food properly, to digest food properly, because hydrochloric acid is slightly dropping down. That's why probably they're saying these longevity diets and nutrition are not loaded with meat. There is lots of plants, lots of vegetables, because it's just easier to digest those foods for us. Okay, so we are having 5 steps to that. And this is what you can remember, no? And I go through every step. And then practically, I would try to talk through that practically. If, for example, you're deciding to do it, I do remove part, and that is called, because we're going to remove anything that's trigger our digestion from inside or outside. You said, okay, I'm having 14 days of this program. So then you can do remove for maybe 7 days. And then you're starting to incorporating the foods that, for example, were triggering, and there is like a quote, a note here: remove phase focuses on elimination of anything that can trigger the gut lining and can increase the inflammation as well, trigger the leaky gut. There are few terminologies here. So we are having imagine our gut, and there is like a gut lining. So this is when you're eating something and something drops down before it gets digested for a small molecules, goes through certain processes here. And if this gut is slightly inflamed, we call, or is triggered, those processes are not going to go the way it should. I'm talking about optimization here. Our body is amazing in maintaining our the equilibrium, or we call it homeostasis, no? But most of time homeostasis is like a very off balance, just because there is so much to, for example, digest. So then that is the phase one, when you're trying to remove certain things from your environment that we know by scientific literature that they may be triggering the gut lining, because, for example, they are difficult to digest, no? And I'm talking here specifically about food. And for example, I know that food of many people is loaded. Can you please kind of, someone I think is unmuted, so we have quiet here. So we have food such gluten, dairy, soy, sugar, alcohol, caffeine, nuts. They are very common allergenic foods. And those allergenic foods, when they eaten, they're going to keep triggering that gut lining and that gut inflammation to respond with immunity response. But also what I found in my clinical practice, there are, literature also now, can probably for less than 10 years, there's lots of literature about that. There is something what is called delay food sensitivity. We don't need to be allergic to something and come up with this, with bigger lips, you know, slightly swollen eyes, or some allergies are very life-threatening, no? We don't need to come up with this. But the delay food sensitivity happen up to 72 hours after we are eating certain food. So for example, I know that I have delayed sensitivity to gluten, and this is not just like a makeup story, no, because I am not celiac, and then they will say, oh, but there is not such things. They are responses which cause, when I eat gluten, I feel right now as an adult, I'm not manifesting on my digestion, so my bowel is fine. So I want that you don't stuck only with your digestion. But for example, I feel more tired, I am low, and my energy significantly drop, and I can see the difference. And I, for example, could have migraine. No, there are different reasons. I also could come up with migraine, like when I'm stressed, I'm getting very tensive here, no, when I don't breathe properly, and when I don't drink water. But I know that gluten can trigger. So for many years, I've been on this gut program. I know that I work so much. And at this stage today, I am able to eat gluten, but I don't eat as I used to, because the burden of how much I can eat is just, I eat one day, another day. And if I continue eating, I start to feel tired, more lethargic, and more symptomatic towards that. Do I like this? Not really. Therefore, for me, I see big correlation. I said I can stay off from it. And then obviously, there are different theories, if I can mention here, about the gluten, because I know that is very common. And the problem is also with grains, how grains are produced, how grains are growing. There are pesticides, they are herbicides, they're putting lots of kind of those agents, I get out of my head right now, that they are supporting the growth. And that also is one of the research paper telling that maybe that is the reason now generation is not as able to kind of deal with gluten, you know? So think of that. Now look at your nutrition and saying, okay, how many those type of foods that are having some form of reaction could be in my nutrition? And then you can make a list, and you're saying, okay, the most common is, can I remove all of them? Many people say, no, how I will eat without this, how I will be without this, how I will be without that. And bear in mind, those foods are in most of people's diet. So then if you are not ready to remove everything, you can say, okay, what do I am prepared to remove? And then you have different obvious therapeutical results from removing, for example, just sugar and alcohol and caffeine. I know, guys, you don't drink in alcohol, but this is the like a general guide for many people so they can use it. So you remove it, only those two, no? Or another way is look across your nutrition and see what I eat the most. And you say, okay, I've got, as people having eggs every single morning, or in vegetarian diet, people eating lots of soy. So say, okay, maybe soy. It's just because when we constantly eating the same food, the body can become like sensitive to it, no? Or just because maybe we want to give the gut rest from keep using and breaking down constantly the same protein. And what I want to say, because then if there was a doctor would pick me up on this and would say, oh, our body is strong, we are able to digest this, and that's true. Our body has own enzymes, is producing them, has capability to do anything. And in my past, I used to do leaky gut test. Leaky gut happen when we are having like holes. Imagine this is a gut wall, and like, or imagine like a cheese with holes. This is leaky gut. Those holes happen over time through the constant exposure to different triggers. So we are having leaky gut syndrome. And people with autoimmune condition, there is a big chances they have. And I used to do tests to look at people's leaky gut because I like to see if my therapies and what I'm prescribing have some scientific validation, and I cannot scan people's, no? And for me, working on symptoms, it's okay, but if I have scientific data, it's even better. But what came up from those tests is like those people who supposed to have leaky gut, they didn't have. And those people that didn't have leaky gut symptoms, they had leaky gut. So I stopped to use this test, and I'm like, let's use different guidance. And I started to the same with food sensitivity testing. So you can actually test yourself for food sensitivity and food allergy. There are different kind of two types of immunity response. And when someone came to me with a list of foods, and I've done this, now I've done all this testing, came with lists of foods, I would use this test as there is a chances you have a leaky gut. Because if I come in with a list of foods in reds, I don't know if you know how looks the food sensitivity test, no? So you will have in colors green, yellow, and red. This food you can eat, this food you're reacting, this food you're not reacting. So if someone comes to me with a list full of red, I'm like, okay, they may be having leaky gut. Why? Because everything that they eat seems is coming inside the blood as an immunity response. Gut needs to be fixed. So I started to look a little bit different way at those tests. I would love to continue. It's just sometimes saving people's money because those tests are not cheap. No, but there is a. I just want that you see that there is a scientific data behind. Every practitioner or doctor will look a little bit different. This is the nutritional therapy approach and optimization of your health. No, so come back to those foods. This is kind of general strategy, and you can identify this food by specific, like I said, functional testing. And general rule of thumb: elimination diet is a diet because starts and finish. That's why I call it diet. That's why it is not a nutritional plan, it's a really diet. To last 28 days. So I told you, remove for how long you can, but 28 days. And there is again scientific validation because 28 days would generally starting to create a new habit. So that is a great way. If you say, okay, I need new habits, I need to start to bring new types of food into my nutrition, and I'm like stuck in with the same breakfast, the same lunch. No, do elimination diet, and you will have a list of foods, trust me. And I send you one more PDF with phytonutrients ideas. There is plenty of options to eat. It's just we are so fixed on eating one thing all the time. And on the elimination diet, if you do this, I actually can send you, Maria, I will send it. Please kind of remind me. I will send you whole guide to elimination diet, like additional one that is done by the Institute of Functional Medicine. So you have further explanation of that, and I will send you a menu together with recipes that that supports elimination nutrition. So you will have, like, you can actually start, you don't need to think too much. Okay, any questions on that part before I kind of move on? So maybe we can do that way.
If you could just unmute yourself and say your name, and I will spotlight you if you have a question.
If I speak too fast, apologies. I have things to say, that's why I'm kind of a bit fast.
Yeah, this is Fatima.
Yes, Fatima.
One question I have is, you mentioned about eliminating all this, but what if people don't have like problems eating this?
And this
not
is,
everybody
yes,
has a gut problem, you know what I mean? Some people can eat nuts and grains and not have any problem.
The thing is, and this is where comes consultation. No, we need to separate. I am not you. I would further, if you came to my clinic, no, with some health problem or something that you want to get better, I would think and start to link in how this can be linked to the food, because most of us don't know if we have a problem with this until we remove this from our nutrition.
That's true.
Yeah, yes, that's true. Because we get used to, and that is it was the same. Like, I give you an example. I don't have problems like problems. When I done this test for myself, I had a big skin issues, lots of inflammation. I was tired all the time, exhausted all the time. I'm like, oh dear, and I was eating well. No, and then came a whole list of food. Dairy didn't happen to be on that list, but every time I would be eating dairy, I would be coming up with like swollen eyes. What was happening? When the body is under this work, I call it those fires, the little inflammatory state, can react to anything. And there is something what we called cross-reactivity. So the body, and this is all scientific, I'm talking to you, where the body eats gluten, drinks milk, can think that this is a gluten. So I would be drinking the milk or drinking the yogurts or whatever, and I would come up with this because body couldn't handle. Even this didn't come up on my blood test. Therefore, what is said on the functional medicine book, the gold standard type of test for what I'm reacting, what I'm not reacting, is elimination diet, is not blood test.
Okay.
Blood test people love to do because it's quick and easy. No, they go blood draw, boom, I know what I have to do. On elimination diet, you need a little bit it's time consuming, you have to stick to it, and you have to actually do it. So if you, Fatima, have on your list anything that you would like to improve from your health, think of the gut. On one of the way to improve the gut is do some form of elimination nutrition to support gut healing. But there are going to be other triggers. There is somewhere noise on the background. Fatima,
yeah, I just muted them.
Does it answer in your question?
Yes, yes, very much. Thank you so much. Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. Please hold on another question. Because I also wanted to talk. I didn't add this here, and I don't know why. Yet you might have meat, and you know there are again different theories. Red meat, no, different theories again, and scientific research, and you have different camps. Keto, paleo, vegetarian, vegan is a constant fight, but I think, and I see clinically when people are very bad, when they remove meat, they getting some rest because meat is difficult to digest. However, again, clinically, they are people who are better when you are removing fiber. And then I'm like, okay, so, and again, that is clinically, we are different. But think also of meat. If you constantly you don't know, but if people constantly eating red meat, that's again becoming might become the problem. So just giving a break, give some lighter protein, you know. And for me here it's about the balancing again what we eat. Okay. And now I think Fatima is further supporting your kind of answer, because we are having different triggers to the gut. Food is one thing. There's certain things like pathogens, bacteria, viruses, parasites, and that's what can be done by looking at the digestive microbiology testing. And that is what I do in my clinic. So I have sometimes women come in and they're like, oh, you know, I have diarrhea, I have burping, I have bloat, I have hormonal issues, I cannot lose weight, no? And I've been to this doctor, my digestion is still bad. They told me everything is fine. And I do the test. And sometimes doctors do those tests, but they are not, for example, as detailed as the testing I do. But again, don't take it as it is, because testing is never, I think, going to show us what is happening in our gut fully, no? So again, this is a clinical tool. Toxins, for example, molds, alcohol, and sugar. Many people are living in molded environments. You know, you have dampness there, dampness that. Look around in your environment. So now, you know, all body has to break this down, digest this, and you know, as much as we are going to use the detoxifications through the lungs, we also have to think of those toxins. I put alcohol and sugar as a toxin because, to be honest, our body, in that case, no, then I will find someone and then someone tells me, oh, you crazy, sugar is not toxin. We all, yeah, I said, you know, I'm talking about processed stuff. I'm not talking about the honey, or I'm not talking about dates. You know, that is sugar as a compound, but we know that, you know, in times of difficulty, our ancient people were eating some form of sugar in, so don't take me literally, no, because I'm always talking about pro stuff. And now look, negative relationship with ourselves, negative emotion, negative relationship with the environment, everything that comes on to us is an emotion, but emotion has to be digested. So Fatima, that's again answering your question in another angle. Maybe it's not food, but maybe it's, for example, sadness. Joy is a great emotion, so supposed to speed up our digestion, no, support it, no, endorphins. But look for a different triggers than only food, because I agree with you. It's like well, I have to hang on only on the food, and that's what most people does. And then they are like obsessed with kale and broccoli and phytates and oxalates, no? And you have this all the time, and we are not taking a big picture what is really happening in our life. So remove one thing, but then look at other things that are happening in your life and work on your emotions. And digestion in chakras is linked to the fire, is linked to your transformation, is linked to your achievements, it's linked. That's why women often burning out. No, I'm coming with women that are exhausted, with like a low energy, lethargy. They are having all the diseases suddenly towards menopause or perimenopause coming, no, and always digestion suffer because they've been like a burnout during their earlier life, and digestion through like life path, no, and then comes 50, my hormones depleting, and boom. So starting with digestion is a great work starting point for them. Magnetic fields, no, this computer, we constantly expose it. Plastic exposure, I think this lecture is nicely linked, sorry, this topic is linked to breast cancer. You remember we were talking about the plastic exposures and cans, drinking water, food from plastic, no, there are all those hormonal disruptors that we eat, or we take food from it and then we eat, and that has to be, the gut has to do work. So if gut cannot work optimally, is working to maintain us, those toxins going somewhere, and then we are having a rise of estrogen, and then we are having estrogenic driven condition. So like, for example, Maria, for you is a one thing to look at, what is in my environment that actually can increase the estrogen, and then how my gut works to keep kicking out the estrogen that I don't want from my nutrition, from my gut, from my body, because you've got enough estrogen for your body to produce. That's why we're having also the sudden rise of young girls getting a menstrual cycle very early in their life, because environment is very like toxic. Okay, replace your beauty products. Again, look at, read it. There's lots about, when you Google about the chemicals in toxic products. No, and think of this lecture again from breast. No, stress and refine and processed carbohydrates. You see that sugar I talked about, no? Refine, no fiber, nothing with it, added this fructose corn syrup and everything, blends goes, and then body has to handle. So if any of you has some form of condition or wants optimization, you know, go through the list, look and say, okay, I have 28 days, I remove this, and I give my gut to break so can work and heal and repair. Actually, gut lining is repairing like within 5-6 days. The problem is we are constantly trigger the gut again, and then the gut has to repair again. And let me see, perfect. And I skipped here one thing. I think that is very important for you, because then you could say, okay, what as support? Is remover enough? What if I have bacteria, parasites, or whatever there, no? And I don't know this. Perfect, you don't do the test, you know, for whatever reason. You can use different antimicrobial herbs and foods, and you have a list here: garlic, oregano, thyme, ginger, turmeric, cinnamon, olive leaf, coconut oil, turmeric, cat's claws, and you have whole list here. You can chop them in your foods. You can do like some tinctures, like sometimes I do like a tinctures, like a teas, no? Like very strong teas of certain herbs, and I drink this, because those foods have power to support this remove part when you're trying to lower the exposure from food, but also from anything that may be like gut bacteria, fungus, and parasite disbalancing your gut flora. Okay, any question on that? And I move to remove phase 2. Please.
You can just unmute yourself and ask a question.
Please share the twin button to help. Yes, please. No question. Okay, perfect. Keep it them if something right on paper. Okay, then we are having replace. Replaces the face, you know, you're removing something, now you have to replace it with something. Now it's all very cleverly done. So we're thinking of replacing with anything that supports with our digestive capability and digestive fire. So then when I'm eating this food again, obviously for over 28 days, I have built my awareness. My body starts to tell me I may need this more, I may need this more. I will introduce you to kind of how to bring those foods back at the end. But imagine you have this 28 days done. So now you're starting with food that they're like a high enzymatic food. So obviously we are thinking of fruits and vegetables. Some people like with SIBO, small intestine bacteria overgrowth, or irritable bowel syndrome, they may need again slightly different approaches from beginning, because the food cannot be like a fiber, cannot be digested. So it's like a little bit different approach there on the food map, but still some form of elimination nutrition. But remember, you cannot be on food map. Maybe you've got heard about these people with irritable bowel, they cannot digest fiber, they're fermenting, they are hugely bloated. You cannot be forever. So this is again, is not like a one solution and it's done. So again, we would have to think how to improve digestive organs functions like stomach, liver, gallbladder, pancreas, because they are supporting the production of enzymes that digest fats, protein, and carbohydrates. Because this food, which when you eat, has to be broken down to the smallest molecules to be absorbed through the gut, and then could go into your bloodstream and around your body. And it is very straightforward part, because you keep about foods and different mind practices. And look, you are having apple cider vinegar, and again, some saying no, some saying yes, you know, it is a great way for you to experiment on yourself. People who has like already acid issues or stomach ulcer shouldn't use this. But 1 table of organic cold press apple cider vinegar, you can dilute in a warm water and drink it before food. So to support your digestive capacity. Eat ginger, lemon, celery, black olives, dark organic chocolate, look at this, leafy greens, kale, spinach, black olives, to support digestive enzymes productions. I love to work with bitter herbs, because bitter herbs are stimulating to production of the bile. Bile is very important to stimulation of the liver function. You have chamomile, dandelion, gentian, milk thistle, peppermint, mint. And again, if you don't have tinctures, no, I use tinctures with my clients done by the herbalist. You can go and pick herbs and create your own herbal teas, which also are very potent. There is one tip I got from my teacher from herbal medicine. He said, if you want to create tincture-like tea, I think they call it this concoction, I think, you putting 2 herbal teas in a pot, and instead removing them before you're drinking, you're keeping them inside that teapot. So the strength is increasing, because it's about strength. This is where the therapeutical effect of that herbs come. And that is what I do. No, I don't have now tinctures. I went to herbalist shop. I bought some different kidney herbal tea, liver herbal tea, thyroid herbal tea, no? And you can implement and add this into your nutrition. So then instead, you know, drinking water, you can have now some concoction of those teas. Spices are great. So ginger, I love ginger. You can juice ginger with some little apple, just because it's hard to drink, and you can have a little lemon or lime, I think it's lime in the recipe, and have like a digestive fire drink. No, drink once in the morning, once in the evening, and trust me, there are huge therapeutical effects of this. My mom had rheumatoid arthritis, and I remember when she was in a big fire of this, she was drinking, I think, twice a day, the ginger shot, and the inflammation was dropping down. So there is a huge potential in everything that I'm sharing with you, and food has huge potential. I really want that you take, because I don't know each of you nutrition as in person, but I will generalize now. Take that glasses from your eyes that tells you that for breakfast I have to have this, for a lunch I have to have this. No, take it out and saying, okay, there outside of this there is a buffet of colorful food, and I want to put it this into my nutrition. And as I said, I will share with Maria a few more things so to support your journey. And if you are stuck with foods and like, okay, what I have to eat, you're going to have lots of options. Embrace positive emotions. You see, again, I'm coming back to our mental health. I'm coming back to our emotional health. I'm coming back. When women coming to me with digestive problem, I always ask them, what is undigested in your life? What is undigested in your life? What cannot flow when we talk about the hormones in your life that you are experiencing that condition? What you are immuning yourself to. And then their answers come in. And then you say, okay, this situation, that person, that relationship, that is hurt. And then the body will say, I want to embody this, and that's dump into somewhere. Practicing gratitude. As you are doing this replacing, you're not only replacing food, you're replacing everything else that you can replace, you know. Hey, let me see what is there. Okay, any questions on that? This is a remove first. How do you like this phase? Yes, Fatima.
Okay.
Or Barbara after.
Yeah, okay. I'm Barbara. I had attended your first lecture, but then after that, I was traveling and I had technically problems with the Zoom and WhatsApp, so I couldn't. Today, by chance, I came across the message and I was so happy. I just wanted to ask you whether this routine is okay. I start the day with a little warm water, and after about half an hour, I have a kind of a concoction that you mentioned: ginger, garlic, cardamom, cinnamon powder, clove, peppercorns, nutmeg, turmeric, honey or jaggery, and sour lime juice. You know, I have it as a drink. I warm it up first and then put the sour lime juice later. Sometimes I used to use apple cider vinegar, but would you prefer it to be 1 spoon before a meal, as you said?
I think if you are having this powerful concoction, I wouldn't add anything else.
Okay.
Because
it started during the pandemic, of course, and now I've carried on. I feel healthy with it. Yeah.
I always love to experiment, and that's what I say. It is about how you feel and what makes you feel the best. So if you gave me this routine, and I have 2 routines from you, I would say, okay, let's be 7 or 10 or 12 days on one routine. 7, this is like a little clinician here. 7, 12 days on another routine. And they say, okay, my digestion is more robust on this. I feel better on that. I feel both on the same. No? So then you can keep exchanging, keep using, because the first one is, I think, outside of effects on digestion, herbs that you mentioned have lots of different minerals and micronutrients and vitamins when we start to look at this. So I think it's more potent in terms of quality. than just apple cider vinegar. So in that first concoction, you have kind of more, from what I'm hearing, more benefits across the body. And if it has the same function as apple cider vinegar, why I have to skip the other one? That would be my answer.
And one question about fruit. When is the best time to have fruit? Is it empty stomach or in between meals or after a meal?
Yeah, it's a very common question. Yes, you know, many years ago, and I shared with this story with you, I have read in a traditional Chinese medicine book that fruits should be eaten away from food, especially for people who has any digestive problems, and you know that is like can stay undigested because food's digesting in little bit different time, or you don't want to create this blends of food. You know, sometimes if you eat different types of food, you might feel bloated. But there are certain foods, like a water-based foods, like a melon and watermelon, that on this book was saying, and I kind of, for me, it's a sense that can be written around a meal, because it's a much more water-based that has a fiber and this pulp and soluble and insoluble fiber to digest. So I would eat it away, and then again, look how this fruit is impacting your blood sugar regulation. No, would I suggest to drink a fruit juice? Not at all. No, because it's like a pump straight into the bloodstream. You drink in the pure blood sugar. But if you eat some apples or some berries, or you know, you can have 1 or 2 almonds just around this to support your blood sugar regulation. So again, we have to start to look at everyone else separately, but from digestive perspective, I would suggest to eat fruits away from food, or if you are eating like a melon or watermelon, much more base, I think would be maybe papaya is not a bad idea, because papaya and pineapple are having natural enzymes, papain and I should actually add this there, papain and bromelain, that are great to support digestion of the protein. No, so for someone who has arthritis, no, or any type of inflammatory conditions, you can eat this as a therapeutic food.
Yeah. And since we are talking about food, I'd like to share my personal experience about food allergies. When I was younger, maybe school, college, I could not tolerate shellfish as well as pork dishes. And my mom, who was a really good cook, she would be very sorry that I could not, enjoy with the rest of the family. So she only suggested that I should have a little at a time. And I'm happy to say that now I can eat shellfish, I can eat pork, and different forms of shellfish like snails and the mollusks as well as prawns. Nothing happens to me. So I think it is how you can train your gut, train your stomach, and train your whole body to overcome certain kinds of allergies.
Yes, I agree with you 100%. That's why when we are born, I think there needs to be more education about how do we introduce food to children and how we're creating those meals. Because my daughter, when she was born, and I started to introduce her food, and bear in mind, all I have this knowledge, no, she suddenly came up with atopic dermatitis, and she's everywhere with atopic dermatitis, and I'm like, this is crazy. I was so careful. I gave her this and that, no, but genes are strong. And my husband has tendencies to different allergies, no? So despite me being strong, there came something. And for the, and I'm trying this, whatever. And I was breastfeeding her. And I went to the doctor. My mom said, just go to the doctor. She's all in this. And I'm like, Mom, okay, I go, so you give me peace of mind. And I went to the doctor, and doctor giving her like 5-6 creams. And she's like a 1-year-old. And I'm like, no way I'm going to use on her all the steroids cream, because in my clinic, I worked with girls, 25 women, 25 years old, who used to use that. And then they are having problem with dropping the steroids creams. Every time they drop, boom, things come. So I said, let's look really deeply on what's going on with me and her. So I've done strict elimination diet on myself because I was breastfeeding her. So I ate nuts, I ate milk, honey. I had all of those things that were triggered. And you see, when the gut is maturing, anything can trigger. And within 4 weeks, her skin got clean. I used zero cream. 4 weeks. 4 weeks. I would be using on her the stuff. However, one thing stayed: egg white. So then I started to feed her egg back on reintroduction of food to check what food does we react to. No, she already was also eating, and every time I was giving her whole egg, or I had whole egg, the skin started to come up with little spots of atopic dermatitis. So I'm like, okay, let's now separate egg. I give her egg yellow and egg white. And egg white is up to now, she's 4. And I read on research that up to 12 years old, children might not be able to digest. But I do exactly what your mom did. Where it was very acute, I didn't give at all. But now she's very calm. She's already 4. So I, time to time, whenever egg white comes, I give her. Okay, I cannot protect her because then she goes and she won't be able to handle this. But up to now, for example, her bowel would be slowing down. So I saw that every time she eat egg white, she had a constipation now. So it was not anymore on the skin, but was directly manifesting on the gut. But now as she's growing off, she's better and better. But I don't give her egg white every single day because I don't have desire to keep challenging her gut that is still maturing. So treat your gut when you do this elimination plan like you're really a baby that comes from a womb. And you want this environment to be little bit kind of sterile for a beginning, to then start to bring it back, everything that you are having, and your body is going to be beautifully telling you this yes, this not, this may be orange light, no, sometimes yes, sometimes not. So that's why I think this idea of this embracing emotion, practicing gratitude, everything around that you can cultivate once you are doing the routine. So thank you so much, Barbara, for sharing. That's very valid, very valid. Maria, you know what? I really offer you guys 1 more hour. Next, I don't know, let's do next week or whatever you can, because I want to finish. And we have 3 more steps. The 5th one is very short, but I think it is an interesting thing. Now, what we're sharing here. What do you think? Or you want to stay with me for another half an hour? However you want. Maria, can I hear you?
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize I was unmuted. Yeah, Daria, how are you placed? Are you okay with continuing? And how is everyone else
I can
placed?
continue, but how is everyone else? No, you have this ebook, so I can continue. So I finish. I will try to be more succinct, but I still wanted to hear you a little bit, your questions and your reflections. So maybe we go for another 20 minutes, half an hour max. Do I continue?
I think we leave it open to everybody. We can have a part 2 to this, so that y'all are not rushed with your questions. We could even, would that be okay for everybody? Or we can just finish up now. Like Daria said, we would need another half an hour. So maybe you can quickly raise it.
I would think
I welcome your suggestion.
Maybe post your comments. Okay. Post your comments on the chat box, and we look what is most of people.
Or if you can put your reaction, just put a thumbs up if it's okay to continue. Okay, so I'm seeing a few thumbs ups come in. You can, if you've got your video on, you can just put your thumbs up. Just, you don't need to look for
Yeah,
Okay, I
so
see
Maria.
most seem to be fine with continuing.
Oh,
For all those
perfect.
who
That's
who
fantastic.
can't be here, I think you know, I will share the recording with them and we can keep the
Okay,
conversation
here
going
we
because I
go.
can share their questions with you.
Okay,
But yeah.
fantastic, perfect. You have recording, so that's great. Okay, anyone has any more questions in related to this replace part?
Hello,
Okay.
I'm Eva here. Can I ask you a question?
Who is that talking? Sorry,
I have a
sorry.
little Eva. I'm Eva.
Eva, I see you. Yes.
Yeah. I have acid reflux. Will apple cider have a little side effect on that?
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes. Yes. No,
okay.
so that's why you're not having. That's why I said when people have acid reflux, oh, I didn't mention that, or stomach ulcer, those type of acidic condition, they better don't have it. But when you are having acid reflux, what I suggest is look at the magnesium that comes and look definitely at this gut program to slightly drop down the kind of balance your environment, and maybe there is those acidic foods are coming, and definitely that phase when you are replacing with digestive enzymes. So maybe if you cannot handle that, you could look at what is called. You could look more. You could look at the enzymes that are digesting the chamomile, dandelion, gentian, milk thistle. Gentian is very often used with HCl, hydrochloric acid, to support digestion of the protein. Ginger, again, look at that. Fennel. Yes, so looking for the reasons for the acid reflux. Sometimes acid reflux is triggered by the bacteria, Helicobacter pylori. So you could look at also through that. You could look at also the low level of B12 and generally absorption of vitamin B, because that's how kind of this starts the condition. Helicobacter pylori is often a problem there. Yeah, and then mastic gum is a very well researched therapy.
Yeah. And could you please tell me what are the symptoms of a leaky gut?
Oh, that is very good question, because the symptoms of leaky gut are like probably a list. That's why you remember when I told about the test, I started to test people. Those people who I thought had leaky gut, they didn't have. Those that they should have, they had. Listen, it can manifest across every single system. Could be headache, could be migraine, could be a digestive issue, could be autoimmune condition, no, could be weight issues, could be rheumatoid arthritis, could be arthritic pain. So can go across, because gut can be leaky, but also we can have a leaky brain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so look it across, no? But I think, you know, as I'm thinking, one thing I want to tell you, that if you experience anything on digestion, and let's say you pick only the food, no, because you don't know the rest, you might don't experience like a leaky gut with this like a large holes like on this cheese I was mentioning, because there are different markers that you can look through the blood that will tell us about leaky gut. But there are certain bacteria, parasite, viruses that you don't know that they might be there. They are producing end products of their metabolism, and they also creating that leaky gut like symptoms, because they are bringing their end products inside into the blood through the gut wall. So where I was going with this, so forget. I was going with this somewhere, but forget. Don't worry about that. I was going with this somewhere. I missed myself. Anyway, don't worry. Will be too much messing in your heads, and then you'll say, "Oh my goodness." So generally, yes, yes. Look across whole your body.
Okay, thank you very much.
Anyone else?
I have a question.
Who is
you
that?
mentioned Maria.
Maria.
I'm not Fatima. No, sorry,
Fatima.
Yeah. So bitter herbs, right? You mentioned bitter herbs, but dandelion. Some of the herbs these are very difficult to get here.
Really? Okay. I didn't think that.
But capsules are, I think capsules are available online, capsules.
What is available online?
Capsules.
Capsules. Okay. Yes, you can use so you see, that's why you can use a supplement, and then you create in like an antimicrobial protocol here where you are using a supplement, no? Why I don't mention supplements, because I would prefer clinically to look at your gut and do the stool test and see it if I need that big dose of that, because supplement is extraction, no? Does not come with everything else that particular food has. And you then creating a therapeutical plan with supplements. And if then you've got some other conditions, you might take in some medication, then I don't want to sign my hand because I don't do consultation with you. Does make sense? This is my like a disclaimer here, and I will be very strong on this, no? Because then you take a supplement and it's like okay, maybe milk thistle is generally supporting the liver. It's not like the same dandelion, but generally when you're buying supplements, they are in much higher dose than you will eat with food, and it's just a safer.
Yeah, because I heard a lot about the dandelion and milk thistle. Overseas, the States, they recommend all the time.
Really, but it's so interesting that there is no those herbs in your country. But you know what? What you can Google, maybe Maria, you can Google something like that for them, or everyone can Google what Ayurvedic herbs available in your
India,
country.
right?
In Goa, India are having bitter flavor.
So, I actually wanted to ask you about that. So I know what is available in abundance in India, across India actually, is neem leaves. I don't know whether you're familiar with it. I'm going to send you a picture of what it looks like.
Me.
It's a neem trees are very common in India, and you get neem leaves. That's NEEM. And it's a very bitter flavored leaf,
Yeah,
That's
I've heard
one. And the other
about
is,
neem.
yes, and the other thing is also bitter gourd. It's known as Karela in India. It's a vegetable, and it's also a very bitter vegetable. And a lot of the time you kind of grind it, and the juice is drunk, especially to control things like diabetes and stuff. So I was wondering, as Fatima was asking that question, I was wondering whether these bitter herbs can be replaced with for milk thistle and dandelion.
You can, no? If I'm reading neem, has the antibacterial and antiviral properties. No, they're also doing oils from that. Exactly. So type it on Ayurvedic herbs and that are having a bitter herbs or are used in India, and I'm sure you're going to get a list. And the neem would be one of those, and probably Maria, the one that you mentioned.
Exactly. bitter gourd.
Exactly. It has even the name. Bitters.
Yes, it has the name. Yeah.
This is the potential here. Again, herbs, their names, if we start to kind of probably dig in, some of them will guide us. What is this for? So anything that is bitter is a great to tonify the liver, to support gallbladder. And gallbladder is important for emulsification of the fat. So if anyone, and most of people at certain age becoming with a cholesterol problem, no, the sudden rise of the cholesterol, and then they're telling you don't eat this, don't eat this, don't eat that, no. But what about improving the gallbladder and liver function? Then your body has the chances to break down the cholesterol and bring it back as a HDL back, metabolize, and then again remove from the gut. So think of the bitter herbs.
Yeah, me too.
Now there is a lot being said about this drumstick leaves, moringa.
Right.
Moringa. Yes. Moringa is a very good herb for anyone, or fruit as well, for anyone who has diabetes. So there is lots of research about that. Pre-diabetes, blood sugar regulation. So you can, again, keep drinking this as a tea, and yes.
Yeah, we use it in salads as well.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I move on to the next phase?
Yes.
Perfect. So then we have reinoculation. Reinoculation is the reintroduction of healthy gut bacteria in the intestine to establish microflora balance. And I had a question many years ago from someone who asked me, you know, is there any good time to introduce healthy gut bacteria, and what research are saying? And I know that many people goes to like food stores and they buy in like a lactobacillus probiotics. No, there was a time when it was very popular, friendly bacteria. And again, research said that no one is there is not like you will kind of more benefit of having healthy gut bacteria as a supplement than not having. But therapeutically, and what advanced science of using probiotics says, is saying we cannot just use probiotics at any time we want, because there is a certain phase when those probiotics are going to be even more beneficial to you than less beneficial. And like you've seen with the gut health, we having reintroduction after we remove, after we reintroduce or replace, and then we are reinoculate the gut lining. It's really similar, like you have your field, no? You can go to your field, you seed a flowers, or you seed anything you want. And now what? You're going to keep adding probiotics into that, to this growing, because you say, oh, the soil will be better. Or you actually thinking, how can I improve the soil quality, acid alkaline balance? How can I do things so there is like a less weed, or things are growing better? You're not keep going giving probiotics, no? But if you keep giving probiotics, the terrain is going to slightly work better. You see, so it's going to benefit in that growing seed, but may not have the same effect than when the soil is like improved from its roots. Does make sense? So it is exactly the same with probiotics. General rule of thumb, when you are choosing probiotics, think of billions, and think of the variety of species of probiotics on the bottle. So if you're seeing one or two, it's like I am Maria shows Actimel. You know, therapeutically, I don't necessarily believe in this, because, for example, there is some milk. So if you're having problems with milk digestion, no, I would think how I could use a probiotic from different type of food to give me probiotic. I would look at the content of sugar. Is a great that you show in this, Maria. So I'm not cherry picking on you. I think
no, that's very that's actually such good information. And as the reason I showed it was, as I was putting it up there, I was thinking, oh my gosh, is this processed? Am I having the right thing? You know,
exactly. This is all these campaigns, you know, and then they were drinking, and then we look at the sugar content, and I'm like, are they so much better for you for example, kefir, which is naturally fermented, You know, you can try the goat kefir, you can try the coconut kefir, you can try the cow kefir organic milk. It's much better. You don't need all of this. Kefir is just fermented milk, boom, job done. And bacteria are put there and all fermentation happen. Otherwise, we're drinking all of those stuff and we don't really know, you know, there are some research, but again, we have to look at
Daria,
the
sorry,
therapeutic.
is kefir yogurt? Is kefir
No,
the same thing?
No, yogurt is a yogurt. Kefir is a fermented milk. So actually has acidic flavor and smells a little bit.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Not available here. Not
I'm
Alicia.
But you can do it yourself. So what you can do, you can buy a quality milk if you want, and you can buy the culture to cultivate kefir. So like bacteria, you can buy separate bacteria, and then you are putting those bacteria inside the milk, and you put in, I think, next to hot place, and the fermentation is happening. So you can prepare kefir yourself.
Post how to do that later. I will have a session with Daria and look
is
this up.
kefir dairy? Is kefir known as dairy?
I cannot hear question.
Is it dairy? She wants to know if kefir is dairy. Would it be classified under dairy?
You can have different types of kefir depending from what is done. If it's from cow milk, yes, it's dairy. You can have goat milk, which is sheep milk, which is slightly less on the body. So that is another lesson from less difficult to digest. So again, my naturopathic teacher at my college, when I was studying, he said, cow's milk is the hardest milk to digest for the humans. And baby, and we losing capabilities to digest this milk as we are growing adults. Some people never can digest lactose or casein inside, and this is where again those issues from childhood are coming. But right now you can prepare yourself your own kefir. Can be from coconut or can be from like a goat or sheep, which is much easier to digest. Yes. Okay. So let's come back. So we are having foods, and I think this is all about foods here when we bring in those things in. And you are having leek with fermented vegetables. You see, again, that comes back to the stage when I'm bringing those foods. Because some people, when they work on the gut and they suddenly start to eat fermented food or too much fiber, they're like, oh, I cannot digest this. Yes, because that is a food for your gut, for your bacteria, and they love it, and they're going to create lots of mess. This is when temporarily mess, because they are growing, they cultivating. This is where some people cannot handle beans, lentils, and pulses generally, because those food is a prebiotic food. No, that's why we have prebiotic food. Food is prebiotic. Probiotics are as a capsules, no? But I always think of prebiotic food, so you give enough food and energy to grow your healthy gut bacteria. You have some ideas here how to buy probiotics quality with many different strains. And you have like lactobacillus, bifidobacterium, like look for lots of different names there, no? Increase intakes of vegetables, make sure you are hydrating well. And again, think of the rainbow, because the rainbow is giving you different selections of probiotics. Fiber like chia seeds, flax seeds. For those one that have problem with fiber, again, you might need to slow down when you load in your body with that. Fructo-oligosaccharides are a long chain carbohydrates that body also uses to create probiotics, and you are having bananas, red onion, chicory, garlic, asparagus. You have all stuff here. And again, people who might have problem with gut, they're often people who have small intestine bacteria overgrowth. They will say, oh, I cannot handle garlic. Or when I eat lots of, I don't know, bananas, I don't feel good. Remember, this is potency here. No? If you eat more of this, your body starts to say, because your gut loves this. But then as good as bad bacteria, they love this as well, no? So think of what do I'm growing in my belly, you know what I mean? And then you are having prebiotic food, and you have, look, all a list here of foods, no? Green tea, yogurt, cottage cheese, kefir, radish. Radish would belong to this burdock root, to the bitter herbs. So I like to eat lots of radish. I often eat like a white radish. I put little bit cream. I'm okay with dairy, no? And I have like a salad. So like a cider here in Poland in winter, no? There is no many things here. So we're eating lots of sauerkraut, cabbages, and things like that, which are very probiotic on our gut. Okay, probiotic food. Look how many you've got: yogurt, miso, natto, tempeh, kimchi, olives, kombucha. And again, some, you look on the kombucha, they're going to say stories that this is not good. Some will say swear for it, because again, it's as a dead bacteria that you are drinking. Often the kombucha, you know, if maybe you do yourself, will have less sugar. What type of sugar will have? So please, kind of, I'm actually going to slightly remove from this list certain things that might be more questionable for some. So we are like very strict. So kombucha would be one thing to think about. Again, raw honey, this is not a honey that is like a processed, and you know, so again, it's different. Fermented sausages, this is the, you don't eat this, but this is those like salami or the Parma ham in Italy. I even didn't know they have some form of probiotic support. But then the thing is, again, how do they produce? So this is the one I'm also going to remove, so that so we don't have kind of problem. And you see there is a sourdough, and sourdough is this preparation additional you're creating before you making a bread. And again, do we eat bread? We don't eat bread. This is coming at the phase 3. See how you feel with gluten, see how you feel with wheat, see where your bread comes from, how it's made. You know, if you go straight and it's like in this Tesco in London, we are having this fridges, ovens, and there is no, the bread is frozen for 5-6 months to put, and they don't eat this type of stuff, no? Cook it, bake it yourself, make it yourself. Is there is one journalist, his name is, I think, Michael Pollan, and he writes lots about all of those things I'm talking today in terms of this bread creation, and how actually this is not problematic. So we need to think what is problem is the environment that we got problem with, and this environment, like this wheat grows like that, or rye grows like that. But your body will quickly tell you what is like it, what is not. And I like this section about polyphenols. Polyphenols are certain parts in certain phytonutrients in foods that also have probiotic effects. So think of the green tea, apples, onions, legumes. Ginseng is a herb. So I would here consult with your health provider and look if there are any contraindications to using ginseng. So you have plenty of foods in that phase to bring and inoculate your gut. Any questions on that? No? It's a pretty food, pretty straightforward. Repair. And now, look, this is step 4. But the moment you remove, you start to repair. So is the question where this should be? So this repair process happens for me spontaneously all the time. You're repairing your gut by going to sleep. You're repairing your gut by drinking water. You're repairing your gut by having a good relationship with a person that you, settling down relationship with person that you really don't like. You're repairing your gut by removing things like plastic stuff or toxins from like your cosmetics and this. So the repair process is very spontaneous, and for me personally happen all the time. But there are certain things that you can support to repair the gut wall. You remember this leaky gut, comes the Holster cheese, and now we want to close the cheese. So you think of the quality of multivitamin, mineral complex. You can add aloe vera. There is something what is called glutamine. It's like amino acid, and they're powders, and they're very well used for repairing gut. Increasing food rich in omega-3, and you have names here: cook with turmeric, nuts and seeds for vitamin E, orange, yellow, green color food, bone broth. And again, I'm sure if someone read this obsessive will say, oh, how bone broth, there is no research, there is no this. There are some papers, but we know, and what our grandmothers knew best, no, or our grandmothers, they always were cooking some soups, no, because it's easy to digest. They were putting some nutrients and say, I don't need research on certain things. We are intuitive human beings, and we have to use that intuition. Now, if someone has marshmallow and slippery elm is great. This is a herb. You can make like a drink with a slippery elm. Red onion and apple. So if someone I think mentioned allergy there, so if you know that you have some allergic rashes and there is some allergy going on in the environment, you can think of the red onion and apples to support the histamine breakdown. So there are two I always talk about. There are different foods as well. If you are not allergic to apple, no, obviously. Zinc-rich food, oyster, pumpkin seeds, you have lobster, beef. Look, this is all to support your gut wall healing, no, or gut wall integration rather than healing. So now you are removed, you re-inoculate more with foods that support the healthy gut bacteria, and you are repairing the wall, no? So you're building robust system. And I guarantee you that anyone who has autoimmune conditions and any type of conditions, Maria, for you as well, because you are in a process of healing and replenishing everything there, doing this program is going to improve the way your body works with a healing and repairing processes. Because this program is not just about gut. This programs lower the inflammatory load to the body, because everything that we have in this program is very nourishing to our system. So if, for example, someone came to me, like someone here in my town asked me to help his wife because she just had a cancer treatment for thyroid. And, you know, with cancer is a very gentle situation, as with all conditions, but this is even more. I don't want to go into supplements because they are on different drugs, they're on chemotherapy, blah, blah, blah. I would say do the elimination nutrition plan, because it has so many power, so much power that can really help you. Okay, any questions on that? Again, very straightforward. Maria.
That was wonderful. I actually have a question that was asked by Melanie on the chat group. She said, if you can share the foods that we can eat if we start the 28-day plan, and if we are avoiding gluten, dairy, okay, and that you mentioned a buffet of food that is available.
Yes, I'm going to share with you the 21 days like a detoxification program, but this program is based on elimination diet. So you are going to have a special part for people who eat meat and special part who is a vegetarian or vegan, and you're going to have everything there, because I will actually maybe add this even to this ebook, because it's a very good question. So there is, trust me, list of food that you can eat. So I will share with everyone. Yes, definitely.
And I think keeping a diary is also a good thing when you're doing this elimination diet. If I can add, just start to write down during the course of that 28 days, start with the bigger portions of foods that you have, how you feel. Just note down how you feel at the end of the meal, or after a few hours after your meal, and that will indicate to you. And you can go back then to kind of compare, right? To see, okay, I was feeling a bit tired on this day, and I ate oats for breakfast. And then you can start to see the similarities, because all of us, our memories sometimes are not great. So like a week later, if you again start feeling tired, look back to your diary to see when you felt tired earlier, and try to compare and see what you ate on that day. So that might be, if Daria, if I might, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that might be a practical way to approach how you do this as well.
Yes, this is the way when you bring in the foods back. So when you are bringing the foods back, you basically bring in one food at the time, a very small portion that you introduce a few times through a day, and then you give in yourself up to 3-4 days. Oh, sorry, not 3, 2 to 3 days, up to 72 hours, to see if there is any change in the way you feel and in the way your body works. No, maybe you had arthritic pain and suddenly you don't have it. No, like my mom knows straight away when she eats gluten, straight away flare-ups come on rheumatoid arthritis. No, she does not eat, is a piece. She eats, comes straight away. No, so your body is great. But definitely I will have like a supporting menu and supporting everything, so you can start, as you said, this program. So I share with you today.
Okay, great. Thanks, Daria. Another question that she has asked is, she said, we only eat the same food every day because we like it, but and we're used to it, but should we be open to more choices in our diet?
Yes, because you should be asking yourself more questions. Okay, that was a very philosophical way, but this is like in our life, we getting used to and we becoming that what we eat, and we becoming that person that stops to be inquisitive about who we really are. And believe me or not, that reflects on our nutrition. The moment you start to asking more questions, your flavors will change, because you will be becoming more aware of yourself and of your environment. And sometimes we are eating the same food because we are suppressed on different parts of us, on our emotions, on our feminine flow, on our thinking. And that is reflecting so much our nutrition. We are less adventurous, we are less fiery, we are less flowing, we are less intuitive, we are less authentic with ourselves, with the environment, and then we're going to choose foods like that. And that is, I'm referring here to our chakras and how they corresponding to different foods and different like a symbolic messages, no? So like, for example, when women often have this thyroid problems, no, and we often suppress on our throat, speaking out our truth. No, think of soups, how much soups I eat, how much seafoods I eat, how much like algae, how much iodine I have in my food. Do I chant? Do I talk? Do you see? Do I drink teas? Do I drink enough water? So think of that. Ask yourself more questions. I think the one exercise I always start with my clients is go to the food store, go around and see all the colors. Forget about the processed section. Go to the section which has colors, fruits and vegetables, and then ask yourself what I'm really attracted to. What I really what is deep inside with me? What do I feel like today? which colors really resonate with me. So don't think about which food resonate with me, but which color resonate with me. So you begin to opening like a different conversation with yourself. And then go back to internet and Google, okay, what these colors means in chakras. And then you say, oh my goodness, I need more flow, I need more creativity in my life. And then you pick in like, here is a apricot, no? Because it's an orange color. It's answering the question.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's so insightful. Does anyone else have a question?
We don't have more time, far more,
Yeah.
a little bit more, please.
Maria, I have a question. If you could please tell me what is 5 to 9 portions of vegetable? Do they include all the colorful ones or the leafy ones?
Yes,
Great.
includes everything. I would say is like a, because now we have to go into this counting. No, what is actually portion means? No, this is a very good question. I even don't think that way. No, it's just I know intuitively what is a portion. I would say few florets of broccoli, 1 carrot, then you have 1-2 florets of the cauliflower, then you have little bit of leaves from the cabbage, then you have little bit of apple. No, so generally, so is no counting, because counting is killing sometimes, and then we are obsessed with, okay, those how many portions. Look across your nutrition and you'll see, okay, with every meal that I eat, do I have vegetables? What do I have in between meal? Maybe I love, for example, to eat, so I have 2-3 different salads on my plate always. So it's not just a one, but there are 2 different one. But you know what, Maria, write this question to me so I come back with a specific portion size stuff, because probably that was the question about.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you.
Portion sizes. Okay. If we don't have any other questions, I know that we're running out of time, but I just put together very quickly a synopsis of
it's
just
a
so
really
that
last one. Maria, I have only one more. You can read yourself. Reconnect. You see, this is all what we talk about. Support your sleep, mindful eating, acupuncture, tai chi, yoga, meditations, prayers. This is all supporting your gut healing. So this is all part of the gut reset program. We cannot keep supporting our gut if we are constantly stressed and loaded. We don't have moment to rest and repair, because everything happens at night. So again, this last 2 phases really happens spontaneously all the time. So don't wait to work on your stress or work on anything that triggers you until phase 5. Start this already. If you know that you need to go to sleep earlier, earlier, start this with the phase 1. And that's it, Maria, from me.
Okay, fantastic. So I just wanted to share with you all, because I know a lot of the things you may not have seen. So just 2 minutes. Can you all see my screen? It's just, you can take this down. So bitter herbs available in India: moringa, neem leaves, karela, bitter gourd, papaya leaves. Jennifer sent that across to us. Radish. Okay. A few things that Daria has left us thinking with: leaky gut. I'd never heard of this term ever before. Something new that I learned today, and I'm so inquisitive to find out more. Thank you so much, Daria. If you suspect it, like she said, check with your doctor. Elimination diet, we're going to be listening more to our bodies, and we can't wait, Daria, for you to send us that 28-day plan and the menu, as well as things that we can do in the process of how we can go ahead with this, recipes included. Drink and eat more alkaline foods to reduce the inflammation and acidity in our bodies. So for that, of course, you have to listen to your body. I really love this, and I'm so glad I lifted this Actimel, which I've been having It's really made me think, honestly, because we keep hearing over and over again the overuse of using natural foods. And it's so much easier to just pick up a supplement. But that was so eye-opening, Daria, because honestly, natural foods are what our bodies absorb better. And like you said, it has the right proportion because the body knows if it's more, it'll eliminate it and it'll not cause any damage or harm versus processed medication as well. So, also, just I'd never heard of kefir before. I don't know whether any of you had heard about it, but it was an eye opener for me as well. I wanted to show you all what it looks like. Um, it's again, I think, a Russian thing, so very interesting. Um,
Russian,
and
Polish, Czech,
ah,
Slovakian, so Eastern Europe, Bulgaria. Yes, very
okay,
popular.
lovely. So I definitely want to look up more about this. We're all on WhatsApp together. Let's talk about these things, keep it in mind, share it. I don't know whether we can start a WhatsApp group with you, Daria, if that's something that you would be open to or not. It's something you can let me know later. And all those who are interested then in nutrition, we can at least keep sharing and encouraging each other to go on this journey together. Prebiotics. I'd never heard of prebiotics before. I'd only heard of probiotics. Again, something I want to look up. Of course, we can't cover everything in these sessions, but there are things for you to kind of look up yourself as well, learn more about, and see what you kind of need to relate to. And I love this. I know many of you are grandmas yourself, but it would be so nice to be a grandchild. Grandmas who are also grandchildren, go back to what your grandma did. Your grandchildren are going to go to what you did. I know that I'll be doing that. So beautiful things that you put down there on that list, Daria, which not only made me smile, but made me look forward to doing them for my daughter now. Things like bone soup, you brought that out so beautifully. Things that we've kind of forgotten, maybe not y'all, but certainly myself, simple things that can give us so much of nutrition rather than head to the medical store or, see doctors, blah, blah, blah. So really grateful for this. And I think, yeah, just leaving us with one thing to remember, natural sources of nutrition cannot be emphasized more. So I just wanted to sum that up for everyone. And on that note, I really want to take a moment to thank Daria. Daria has been unbelievable. I mean, you were a godsend, honestly, Daria. We set out and I met you on completely different circumstances for something completely different. And I cannot tell you how grateful we are to have you on Circle of Grey. You've spent so much of your time and energy waking up much earlier over 6 months, not just a day or two, but over 6 months to give us so much of yourself and to volunteer your time with us. And I'm really grateful. And I think on behalf of everyone here on Circle of Grey, we really want to thank you for opening our eyes and changing our lives. So a big, big warm thank you. And I think if everyone can just unmute themselves and give her a big hand.
Yeah, thank you. That was great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Daria. That was great.
Thank you so much, everyone. It was a big pleasure, and I think this book of God, I hope stays, and all the additional information stays with you forever. And like I said, if you want to support your health, start from that, because there is so much research that the moment the gut shifts, everything shifts, because the ability to break down and digest foods, and always start from food. And there, if I use supplements, and I use different herbal tinctures in my clinic as a therapeutical beginning for someone, because often we cannot break down food, because, for example, those reasons that we mentioned at the beginning. But if you don't have anyone around you, I think I would give probably a little bit time to start with the gut, and maybe then start to implement different supplements if you will want, before I kind of go into like a harsh programs. So for me, it's always finding the balance in between both. But yes, thank you. And Maria, would you like me to mention the program I'm doing?
Yes,
So
very much so.
from 5th of June, I'm running a 4 weeks training program where we're kind of going to work on integrated, like I call it, integrated body training. So we're going to blend of different, like a weight training together with a different body work, and they're going to be 12 sessions over 4 weeks. It is 7 a.m. in UK, so for us it's exactly for you as would start as our session today. And I would like to offer you like a 10% off the early bird price. I think would be coming to £162. I think is minus £18 from £180. If anyone would like to join, always welcome. The group of women is not going to be 20 years old girls jumping around, so you don't need to worry about. And it's really about foundations of building your body and strength. Obviously, it's a group work, so I'm not going to be able to personalize everyone. But if you worry, if it is good for me or not, you can drop me an email. I think, Maria, you can share an email, and I can always communicate with you online to know a little bit more about your conditions or anything if you would like to join. But we're really going to train from home, and I think it's going to be good fun. We're always going to start with some grounding and finishing with some mindfulness practice. So it's not just the body work. So yes, that's what I'm starting 5th of June for 1 month. And you know, if any one of you would like to join, please let me know.
Yeah, I will share those details with everyone as well, so they can get in touch with you directly if anyone is interested. I think it'll be a very helpful program because it's very holistic, physical as well as nutritional, and it would be a great way to start on this journey for sure. Okay, wonderful.
Yes, 100%. And
on that note, I wish you all, I first of all want to thank and congratulate all of you for taking this step to make time to focus on yourselves, to focus on your health. It's never too late. It's always the right time when you decide to start. That's the right time. So, you know, I wish all of you much success on this journey, and just know that you have support in us. We're all in it together. And I hope these sessions that we've had with Daria have helped you all. And even if you can't do everything, you've taken out things that relate to you and have integrated that into your life. So on that note, thank you very much for coming and joining us, and
thank you very
have
much,
a lovely
everyone.
day.
Thank you, Daria. Thank you, Maria.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Have a lovely day.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Maria. Thank you.
Most welcome. Bye-bye. Thank
Bye.
you. See you. Bye-bye.